Even well-intentioned security culture initiatives fail, and sometimes spectacularly. Organizations invest in awareness programs, create policies, bring in consultants, and a year later they're right back where they started. Or worse, they've created cynicism that makes future efforts even harder. Frances Hesselbein, who transformed the Girl Scouts into a model of organizational excellence, understood why this is, saying culture does not change because we desire to change it. Culture changes when the organization is transformed. The culture reflects the realities of people working together every day. You can't just declare a new culture into existence. This is our culture, and so there it is. Culture emerges from daily realities like how work actually gets done, what behaviors get rewarded, and what happens when things go wrong. So in this lesson, let's start with the patterns that cause security cultures to collapse. Understanding these patterns can help you recognize them early. First, you've got the fade. Initiatives start strong. There's executive attention, resources, and energy. Then other priorities emerge. The security training that was mandatory becomes optional. The metrics that were reviewed monthly get pushed to quarterly and then disappear entirely. Without sustained attention, security culture erodes back to the baseline. Second, there's a resentment cycle. Programs that feel punitive, condescending, or disconnected from reality do not create engagement. They create resentment. So if your employees see security as something done to them rather than with them, I'm not laughing at you, I'm laughing with you. Not a good example. Well, they comply minimally and undermine actively. When that's going on, you've lost before you started. And third, there are mixed messages. Do as I say, not as I do, remember? Leadership says security is a priority, but approves projects without security review. Executives skip the training they mandate for everyone else. Resources get cut while expectations remain. And employees learn to ignore what leaders say and watch what they do. And then fourth, background noise. Security communications become so constant and undifferentiated that people tune them out completely. Every email is urgent, so nothing is urgent. Every risk is critical, so nothing gets prioritized. Security becomes the noise everybody ignores. So there are failure modes that kill security cultures. One is over-reliance on fear tactics. And we discussed this in the accountability lecture. Fear drives problems underground, but it also creates fatigue. When every communication warns of catastrophic consequences, people become desensitized. Fear loses its power, and you've burned the tool without building anything to replace it. It's like the old training about to parents. If you're yelling at your children all the time, then they just think of you as a yeller. They don't think that what you're saying one time versus another is more important or less. You're just always yelling. Then there's compliance over practicality. Policies designed to check boxes rather than reflect how work actually happens creates a shadow IT problem. People find workarounds because the official process is too slow, too complicated, or simply doesn't work. So now your organization has invisible risk and no visibility. Then there are insufficient resources. Telling people security is everyone's job while providing no time, no tools, and no training to do it creates frustration and cynicism. Expectations without support is a recipe for failure. People cannot prioritize something they have no capacity to address. And then the reality disconnect. Security requirements designed by people who don't understand operational workflows create friction that breeds resentment. When the security team is seen as the department of no, rather than a partner in getting work done safely, you've lost cultural credibility. Now, each of these failure modes is recoverable if you catch it early enough. Think about a diagnostic framework for identifying if your security culture is healthy, struggling, or actively deteriorating. Healthy culture indicators are that people report incidents and near misses without prompting. Security considerations come up naturally in project planning. Employees ask questions rather than assuming or ignoring. There's a constructive tension between security and speed. Debates happen, but they're productive debates. Struggling cultural indicators are incident reporting is declining without explanation. Security gets added to projects late in the process. The same issues keep recurring despite training. And there's visible frustration with security processes, but nobody's offering solutions. All complaints, no solutions. All complaints and no solutions basically means somebody wants something to go away rather than being fixed. Just make it go away. Now, deteriorating culture indicators are that employees actively hide security concerns or workarounds. Shadow IT is widespread and growing, like one employee is saying to another, "Oh, don't worry about that. I've got a way to get around that." Leadership engagement is purely reactive only after incidents, and there's open cynicism about security initiatives. Oh, here we go again. So the critical insight, by the time you see deteriorating indicators, you've lost significant ground, obviously. That is the bad end of the spectrum. So the goal is to catch struggling indicators early and course correct before they become entrenched. Change is always possible. It's just a lot harder to change things that have become entrenched and a part of daily attitude and lifestyle. The downloadable resource for this lesson, Security Culture Health Diagnostic, provides a structured assessment tool to evaluate where your organization currently stands. So let's think about course correction if you're able to identify problems. You want to start by diagnosing root causes, not symptoms. Declining incident reports might mean better security, or it might mean people stopped reporting. Low training completion might mean scheduling problems, or it might mean the training is seen as worthless. Before you act, dig deeper to understand what's actually going on. Address the fade by building security into existing rhythms rather than creating new ones. Security metrics in existing business reviews. Security questions in existing project gates. Integration is more sustainable than addition. And break the resentment cycle by involving employees in designing solutions. People support what they help create. If a policy isn't working, ask the people affected by it how to fix it. Fix mixed messages by aligning leadership behavior with stated priorities. This might mean having difficult conversations with executives about the signals they're sending. If you're one of the executives, you still might need to have these difficult conversations with your fellow executives. Don't want just one of the leaders fighting this fight on their own. And you can combat background noise by differentiating your communications. Not everything is equally urgent. When you reserve alarm for genuine emergencies, then people start actually listening. The key takeaway for this lesson is that security culture failures are rarely sudden. It's not typically an overnight thing. They're gradual erosions that become visible only after significant damage is done. So you want to build early warning systems and course corrections while problems are still small, if possible. So download the Security Culture Health Diagnostic and use it to honestly assess where your organization stands today. In the next lesson, we'll review calculating the true ROI of security spending.